wanna hide something from a Christian, hide it in they book. If non-believers know your book better, how that's gonna look. Can't take the heat, get out the kitchen.
In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says in chapter 12, the whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments. That's not the whole duty of man. One of the first things that God created for men to do before anything, before man ever committed a sin, was to go to work. Now, God started out speaking everything into existence. That's how it all started. Then he went from speaking everything into existence to actually having a job himself. So your God had a job himself. God had to go to work. What make you think you don't have to go to work if God had to go to work in paradise? So this paradise that Jesus told the thief on the cross that he will be with him in, this is a plantation. Jesus said, today you will be with me back in the plantation. That's what Jesus was saying. In verse 15, it says, the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Now, if paradise was a perfect place, why did God need to create a man to work it? If it was a perfect place, why did God need a gardener? Why did he need somebody to till the ground? So this is not a part of the curse. This is before Adam ever committed a sin. The first thing that God created man to do was to go to work, so God can take the rest of his life off. So God created you to replace him. He created you. He hired you. Look at it like this. God hired you to take his place so he don't have to work no more. So God is like the CEO. God is like J.D. Rockefeller, who says, I want workers, not thinkers. That's how God is. God says, let me create a man so that I don't have to do all of this work. Because even God had to rest on the seventh day from his labors. Now think about, in the book of Revelations, it talks about how all the saints of God will rest from their labors. Well, how can they rest from their labor if in paradise you will have to work? There was no rest in the beginning. There was no rest in this place called paradise before God created anything. There was no rest from no labor. The first thing he did you to do was go to work. That was your first assignment. And that's what we all have to do today. So the whole duty of man is to replace God's work. It's to be his employees. It's to take God's job. He hired you to do his job so he don't have to work no more. That's your whole duty for existing. So when you think of paradise, don't think of relaxation. Don't think of a vacation. When you think of God's paradise, think of a plantation. Think of what you're going through every day in your day-to-day. You have to go to work to build somebody else's dream so that you can live in a nightmare. That's what God's paradise is. So, out of all the things that God said that he will save you from, the one thing that he said he will never save you from was work. Was going to work. Hell, you got to work out your own salvation. You got to work out your salvation. Faith without what is dead. Faith without works is dead. So God never told you he will save you from work. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, it explains that work is a part of your existence, not a part of your experience. It's the whole duty for why God created you in the first place. It's to go to work. Why is God not saving you from work if it was a part of the curse? Because that's a part of your existence. Work is not a part of your experience. In God's economy, because God wanted workers and not thinkers, He didn't want you to think about what I'm telling you right now, because you'll wake up. But when we wake up, we still got to go to work. The one thing you can't get around, because even in paradise, God created you to go to work. So what make you think when you die and you go to this heaven that you're going to rest from your labors?
You believe what you can show, or just believe from what you know? What make a book holy if God never wrote it? Imagine God was just misquoted. If God was